I was on vacation in Ecuador with my wife. We were visiting a family, and we were taking a boat trip down the Napo River. And I was afraid I was going to miss the Apollo landing, but we did find a place that had a TV, and we managed to see the Apollo landing. It was an exciting time, but I was afraid we were going to miss it.
Oldest son was laying on the sofa. Bob was in a chair with a footstool. I'm in a chair with a footstool, and the little one, youngest one, is on the floor with pillows, and he kept falling asleep. But it was just so exciting. The images were not real clear, but it was just a very exciting thing. And my grandma, who had seen electricity and cars and all this come into effect, thought it was the most absolutely extraordinary thing that ever happened in her life.
I was in the Peace Corps at the time, serving in Senegal, in a town called Tambacounda, eastern part of Senegal, very isolated town near the borders with Mali and Mauritania. The only means of news, or getting news, was by radio, transistor radio, or for those of us who were fortunate, we had a shortwave type thing, but it was all by radio. And everybody was appropriately excited about it. And then, I guess, a couple of days later, I was teaching, and one of my students came up to me after class and said, "Sir, would you come with me to my village and tell them that there really was somebody went to the moon? Because they don't believe it." They knew it was scheduled, so they stayed outside and they watched and they looked at the moon, and nothing happened. So they said, "Nah, it's just American propaganda. So will you go out and tell them that it really did happen?" And I thought for about 2.5 seconds and declined politely, because there was absolutely no way to convince them.
And I had a 11-month-old son. And when the Apollo went up, he had turned 3 and was sitting in my lap at the manager's apartment of the Colonial Arms where we lived.
Well, I was sitting in my living room in El Paso, Texas. My cousin and her family were visiting from Columbus, Ohio. And we'd returned from visiting the Carlsbad Canyons. And we were watching the Apollo landing on TV, and my wife got mad. She wanted to watch something else.
I was in Monterey, California. My husband was in graduate school. My children were sleeping, and I was sitting on the sofa watching the television, eating Oreos, dipping them in milk and chewing down and watching the TV. I'll never forget.
At Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I was in the Army then, and I remember I just received orders for my second tour in Vietnam, and getting ready to go. And I remember we were at the Branch Officers Club, and there were a whole bunch of people. All of the nurses were there, and all the, a whole bunch of other young officers were standing around. We all were sitting on the floor, and we watched this thing on television, and it was blurry, and we watched them come to land, and it was quite exciting, I think, at that time. It was in the evening time, and we watched them come walking off the spaceship. I remember people getting up and going outside and looking at the moon afterwards. While this was going on, they said, trying to make a connection, way up there, these guys, and we're seeing it right down.
In June, I was in Kingsville, Texas, with my military husband and children. We had just come back from Japan, and we hadn't seen TV in 4 years. So we were all excited and watching all about the Apollo, and we wished we were in Florida. And that's just about it.